Hello and welcome to Supercharged, taking your business to greater heights. It's presented through a partnership with Workforce Solutions Northeast Texas and Small Business Development Centers. Funding for the Entrepreneurship Training Program was provided by the Texas Workforce Commission and Workforce Solutions Northeast Texas. The purpose of the Small Business Development Centers is to assist entrepreneurs to start and or operate a small business. Today we'll be discussing leading change. I'm Julie Parr. The information contained within this presentation is given for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. Tax laws are subject to frequent changes, and you should consult a tax professional regarding your specific situation. Today we're going to be covering a number of topics, including managerial functions, managers versus leaders, forces for change, responses to change, methods to lead change, implementing change, Kotter's 8 steps, communicating values intentionally, communication plan, and leadership checklist. Who is a manager? A manager is someone who gets things done through other people. Managers make decisions such as hiring staff. They allocate resources such as money and staff time, and they also direct the activities of others to meet goals. Managers have several functions. They plan, organize, lead, and control. Managers are aware and involved in a number of aspects in a business. They must be aware of what is going on throughout their own individual departments, as well as what is going on in the company. Managers must have a number of skills, including technical, human, and conceptual skills. Technical skills are those that are specialized knowledge or expertise. For example, a shipping manager must possess skills in logistics and shipping. Human or people skills are very important, as having good people skills allows a manager to effectively work with, understand, and motivate staff. Conceptual skills or problem-solving skills help a manager to analyze and diagnose different situations. Many people believe a manager and a leader are one and the same. However, a manager is not always a leader, and vice versa. Managers bring order to a company. They are an official position in which they are responsible for planning, organizing, leading, and controlling their department or area. A leader is one who inspires or influences others to achieve a goal. Think of the companies in which you have worked. Did you have managers who were not leaders? Can you recall members of your team that were leaders, but not in an official manager role? Ultimately, it is necessary to be both a leader and a manager to be successful. Forces for change. There are a number of factors that can force change in your business. These include changes in the economy, a change in the workforce, new technology, competition, and changing social trends and customer expectations. A quick example can be seen in the way the internet and social media has impacted business. The large majority of businesses now have a website. More retailers allow purchases to be made online, and many Fortune 500 companies have staff who are solely responsible for the company's social media presence. How you respond to change will play a vital role in the success of your business, and everyone reacts differently to change. Knowing how people respond to change will help you to know how to effectively manage change in your business. Let's look at some responses to change. Some people don't like change. They feel like a victim and resist the change. Change can make them angry or depressed. You'll often find these resistors revert to doing things the old way. Some are critics to change, looking for ways in which the change will not be successful, and they will fail to see anything positive from the change. Some are passive to change or bystanders. They are reluctant to get involved with the change and will wait for others to take the lead. There are some people that love change to the point that they don't fully think things through. They charge forward. These people tend to leap before looking and push others too hard. Lastly, some will look to navigate through change, looking for ways to reduce negative reactions, look for opportunities to improve and form positive relations with those affected by the change. Leading through change. The best way to lead through change is to acknowledge your reactions and the reactions of others. Assess the impact the change has had on not only on you, but on others. Embrace yourself as an agent for change and take positive action for you, your company, and others. Now let's look at methods to lead change. To help in leading change in your business, you need to lead, develop a strategy focusing on outcomes and success measures. You also need to create transparency and communicate why the change is necessary. In your strategic plan, you will need to identify goals, objectives, tactics, and the metrics that will provide focus and direction for your future. You will need to prioritize your resources to help grow revenue and increase your return on investment. Make sure you spend time identifying where you want to take your business and how you will do that. This will help you to reduce and manage your risks. The next step in leading change is to identify and prioritize your work, making sure your goals are aligned with your work. Find and identify the new target. Look at what is required and optional. Check all decisions against the plan to ensure continued progress to the goal. You may also need to investigate side opportunities, but don't take your eye off the end prize. As mentioned earlier, communication is very important, so make sure to develop a communication plan and revisit it often throughout the change process. Lastly, determine the objectives for each functional area that supports the overall strategic goals. Next, you will need to identify the major work processes that align with the goals. Determine what improvements are needed and what resources are required. You will need to map the major processes and analyze for any areas in which there could be improvement, timeliness, or cost savings. From there, you will need to determine what resources are needed to accomplish the goals and assign roles and responsibilities. A quick example would be the role of social media has played in business. Many businesses identify they needed a presence of popular media sites. They assessed what sites they should participate on and determined what staffing was needed and assigned roles to staff to handle their social media presence. Lastly, you will need to implement the change at all levels of the organization. This is done by creating an action plan with measurable deliverables and timelines. Make sure everyone is on the same page through communication and align staff positions so there's no misunderstandings and each person knows their part. Now let's look at Kotter's 8 steps on how to implement change. Change is a part of life, and it's an important factor that can make or break your business. There are numerous resources on how to implement change. John P. Kotter, author of Leading Change: Why Transformation Efforts Fail, provides a simple 8-step process for implementing change. First, establish a sense of urgency. Research what's happening in your market and with your competitors. Identify each crisis and opportunity. Second, form a coalition. Assemble a group with enough power to lead the change and encourage that group to work together as a team. Third, create a vision to help direct the effort and develop a strategy to achieve the vision. Step 4, communicate the vision. Keeping the lines of communication open is vital, so communicate the vision and strategies in a number of ways and often. Empower others by removing barriers. Get rid of any obstacles to change. Change systems or structures that undermine the vision, and encourage risk-taking as well as ideas, activities, and actions that may be seen as non-traditional ideas. Create and reward short-term wins. Create benchmarks or short-term goals. When you reach that benchmark of goal, celebrate. Reward or recognize employees that were involved in making it successful. Next, consolidate, reassess, and adjust. This is where you look to see what is working and what is not. It may require you to change systems and policies that don't fit. You may also need to make staffing changes, hiring, promoting, and developing employees who can support the vision. You may also look to reinvigorate the process with new projects. Lastly, reinforce the changes. Communicate how the changes made have led to success. Help others to connect the dots. Develop ways to ensure leadership development and succession. Communicating your values intentionally. As you know, communication is vital, both professionally and personally. So it is important to communicate the values of your business to the staff and your customers. The best way to do this is to first develop a communications plan. In the plan, you will need to identify the current situation, propose recommendations for the action you wish to take, and set guidelines for measuring communication success. For example, you identify a need to have a presence in social media. The best way to do this is to create a Facebook page and a Twitter account. You will assign one staff member to update these two pages and determine a plan as to how these mediums will be used. In this case, you will tweet special discounts to followers and use the Facebook page to promote new products or services offered by the business. Lastly, you will measure success by the number of followers and likes you have on each page, as well as track the number of people taking advantage of the discounts offered through social media. Creating a communication plan checklist. For your communications plan to be successful, it must have the support of leadership and those in managerial roles. The plan must support your mission, vision, values, goals, and objectives. It must describe who the main audience is and the messages that will need to be communicated. The plan should consider reputation and relationships through the process. It should link to the business's annual plan and include research on the business and audience members. A SWOT analysis plays an important role in the communications plan, as you want to make sure the plan accounts and plans for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the company. The plan should also align with your SMART goals. Make sure your communication plan identifies a good mix of media. This includes your website, email, video, print materials such as brochures and flyers, press releases, social media, and so on. Lastly, anticipate how the results of your plan will be evaluated by the team that is leading the change. As a leader for change, you will need to keep these things in mind. As a leader, you must adopt new behaviors to inspire change in your staff. You will need to preach the need for change and create a vision that is clear enough and easy enough to understand to help direct the change. You will need to identify and understand the needs and motivation of the stakeholders. Identify decision makers and empower them to be responsible and accountable in implementing the change. As we mentioned earlier, some people have trouble adapting to change, so be sure to identify those who may need help, consulting them and engaging them at the right time. Take the time early on to develop a communication plan and make sure that plan is tailored and targeted to reach the different stakeholders. Translate the vision into goals that are SMART. Empower others so they feel that they have the freedom to act on the vision and goals. Develop objectives with concrete deliverables. Visibly tackle obstacles to change, such as ineffective leadership, poorly allocated resources, sacred cow policies and practices. Also encourage risk-taking and new ideas. Track the progress being made. Reward short-term wins. Embed the changes into your business. If you made changes to one area of your business, but another area needs work, find ways to take what you've learned and apply it throughout your business. An example, if you see that sending one manager through safety training lessen the number of on-the-job injuries in that department, look to send all of your managers through safety training. Lastly, make sure to connect the dots, helping others to see how the change has positively impacted your business. Set up the system to capture the information, share that information with staff, and make sure the systems for change are set up to continue it even in the event of change in leadership. In today's presentation, we discussed managerial functions, being a manager versus being a leader, the forces for change and how people respond to the change. We also looked at methods to lead change, as well as Kotter's 8 steps for implementing change. Finally, we looked at communicating values intentionally and developing communication plan and leadership checklist. I'm Julie Parr. This has been Supercharged, taking your business to greater heights, leading change. The information contained within this presentation is given for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or accounting advice. We hope that you will join us for our other Quick Start training modules. Please contact us for additional assistance with your specific business. For businesses in Delta, Hopkins, Lamar, and Red River counties, please contact Paris Small Business Development Centers for assistance at 903-782-0224. For businesses in Bowie, Cass, Franklin, Morris, and Titus counties, please contact the Northeast Small Business Development Centers for assistance at 903-434-8237. Workforce Solutions Northeast Texas is an equal opportunity employer/program. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Relay Texas, TDD, His number is 1-800-735-2989. Voice is 1-800-735-2988. It serves Bowie, Cass, Delta, Franklin, Hopkins, Lamar, Morris, Red River, and Titus counties.